How long should you take to build up to running a 100-mile race? How do you keep your feet dry and clean your trail shoes this autumn? What packs am I currently testing? Find out in my new Q&A series, answering all of your trail running questions. Welcome back to my Q&A series. I'm Claire from Wild Ginger Films, the trail running, advice and inspiration channel. Today, first of all, I just wanted to say a big thank you to everybody who is regularly commenting on these Q&A films and any of my other films too. I'm really enjoying seeing the Wild Ginger Films community grow. And thanks also to anyone who shares this channel with their friends too. The more people we can help and inspire into trail running, the better. If you're new here, then make sure you click the subscribe button, and any books or gear that I mention in my videos you'll find links to in the YouTube film description box below. So just click show more or the drop down arrow for details. So let's answer that first question. Dan Cash wants to know how long it takes to safely build up to running a 100-mile race, as he's relatively new to running and he has just signed up for the Javelina 100 in October 2019. Well done, Dan. So for this question, I asked Paul Giblin. He's a top ultra runner and coach who came an incredible 22nd place in the UTMB, the Ultra Trail du Mont Blanc last weekend. It's 105 miles through the mountains from Chamonix in France. So he should know a thing or two about training for this impressive distance. Paul said, with the increased coverage of ultra running across social media, awareness of events has never been higher, and the allure of running 50k to 100 miles plus has never been greater. The first thing I would suggest, Dan, is to ask yourself why you want to run 100 miles. If you can be really honest about that, then it will help you answer your question. For if you deep down love running trails and want to continue to do so for many years, then it feels like it's a bit too soon to be committing to a 100-miler next year. That's not to say you wouldn't be capable of completing it. It's just a very risky thing to do with no ultra experience to date and very little running volume over the last 15 years or more. So maybe a 2019 season of shorter ultras might be a better way to go, and to look forward to 2020 with many more miles under your belts and in your legs, and a better understanding of what's involved in running such long distances. Finally, Paul says Javelina is a great race for your first 100-miler, as long as you're happy running in the heat. So thanks for the advice there, Paul. I hope that helps, Dan. And if anyone wants to find out more about Paul's coaching and ultra running, then check out www.pylonultra.com. Question number 2, should you get waterproof socks or waterproof shoes for warmer winter runs, asks Guy Greaterex. So I have a definite opinion on this one. I'm interested to see who agrees with me or if something different works for you, so tell me in the comments below. So I'm a big fan of waterproof socks in a non-waterproof trail shoe. So I use this combination a lot, especially during the winter and especially when I was doing my 20-mile training runs for the Cape Wrath Ultra back in January, February and March earlier this year. So this is the setup I was using. This is a Sealskinz sock, and this is the Innovate Trail Talon 290. There's one with a lower ankle like this and one with a higher ankle like this, and I tended to go for the higher ankle because sometimes a sock, any sock, can slip down, so you've got to yank it up via the ankle. So I just found that the longer ankle just meant that there was more to yank up, and also it just kept you that little bit warmer in the winter. So there's another brand as well, there's DexShell. I've used these ones a lot before in my training, so very, very similar, nice fitted sock, same as the Sealskinz, and waterproof, keeps you nice and warm. So this one from Sealskinz is my favourite because it's bright orange, obviously, and so I saved it for day 3 of the Cape Wrath Ultra, which I knew was going to be the hardest day, and it was about 15 hours I was out there for, and I knew I was going to be out there for a long time. So I just wanted a nice and bright pair of socks to look forward to. The other good thing about these socks is that they've got this silicone band around the top of the calf, and that hangs onto your leg so that the sock doesn't slip down, which is really, really good. So in answer to your question, Guy, yes, I definitely would splash out on a pair of Sealskinz or DexShell this winter. Give them a go, tell me what you think. It's a much cheaper option than wearing a waterproof shoe. So there's a link to the socks that I wear in the description below, and if you buy them I get a very teeny tiny kickback, so thank you very much if you do this. Question number 3. Dolphus Mayer wants me to do a video on cleaning my trail shoes. Uh-oh. here's where I have to come clean. I don't really clean my trail shoes, as you can see. If I can find a nice big puddle at the end of a muddy run, I will swill my shoes in it until the worst of the clag comes off. Otherwise, I just leave them to dry with the mud on and bang them together before my next run. In the past, I've run so often that I just felt that they will just get muddy again immediately, so why bother cleaning them? However, this is a very bad attitude, and your shoes will definitely last for longer if you care for them properly. So if I wasn't a terrible person, I would take out the insole and hose that and the shoe down with an outdoor hose pipe before leaving them to dry below a radiator with balled up newspaper shoved inside them. I hope that helps you, all you good people who will clean your trail shoes. Question 4. Rachel Davies wants to know if I have any race goals and can I recommend a non-mountainous 40 to 50 mile trail ultra. So first of all, my race goals. So what I want from races now is enjoyment and adventure. Like, I love scrambling, for example, and I love a journey in a new place. So I'd love to do Emily and Killian's Tromsø Sky Race, for example, as I've always wanted to go to Norway. I'd also love to run in the Faroe Islands, as the Love Trails Festival is there this weekend. It looks absolutely stunning. I don't want to race the 105 mile UTMB, that's the Ultra Tour de Mont Blanc, but I do want to run and walk this incredible route over a week with friends, like finishing in time to watch the actual race and marvel at the runners that can actually complete it in one go. So maybe I'll do that next year. So now for your non-mountainous 40 to 50 mile trail ultra recommendation. So I haven't done many of these that aren't in the mountains with quite some significant hills. So I went on findarace.com, as you can refine your search by type of terrain and distance. So give that a look too. I put the question out on Twitter and the Ultra Runners UK Facebook group, and here's what your fellow runners are recommending to you. So Marcus and Jen Scotney recommend the High Peak 40 in the Peak District. Joe Faulkner and Rosie Fuller reckon the 50 mile Longmynd hike is the best. So quite a few of my running club friends from Stamford Striders are doing that this year actually. Colin and Coops want you to add 3 miles onto your maximum distance for the Highland Fling through Loch Lomond and the Trossachs. That's a 53 mile race. And Karen Stanley says, look at the LWDA Ridgeway 40. My friend did that for her 40th last year with some of our other friends, and they really enjoyed it. So much so that they're doing it again this year. Finally, if you fancy a holiday, Angkor Wat Ultra in Cambodia is 40 miles, and that suggestion comes from Rick Downs. So there you go, Rachel, tons. Which one are you going to go for? Let me know in the comments below. Question 5. A2 Shadow wants to know what packs I am currently testing. So, seeing as my last packs review went down super well, I'm now testing at least a dozen more, and the list is as follows. The Montane Fang 5, the Lidl running pack, Runhill Nano 3 litres and Pioneer 8 litre vest, Camelback Dart 50, Innovate All Terrain Pro Vest, Salomon Advanced Skin 12 set, Kalenji Trail 10 litres, various different packs from Orange Mud, the Hydra Quiver Vest Pack 2, the Endurance Pack and the Adventure Pack 12 litres, Ultra Aspire Momentum Race Vest, Ultimate Performance Air. I'm also trying to get hold of an ANEG Cross Country Backpack 5.5 litres, so fingers crossed that that is coming in soon. So I wore the Salomon pack for a 13 mile run down from Pikes Peak the other weekend in this film here, and this £7 one from Lidl on a run with my neighbour's dogs yesterday, and I'm continuing to test the others, so you'll be hearing about them in due course. Keep watching and subscribe so you don't miss out. Talking of gear, I've had a bit of a revelation this week. So I recently created a film for 1,000 mile socks about double and single layer socks, watch it here. And from my social media poll, it seemed like people were much more in favour of normal single layer socks. So I thought that double layers might not work for me. However, I wore these double layer socks with these Salomon Speedcross 4s that always give me a really uncomfortable run stopping blister at the arch after 1 hour of running. I ran in these for over an hour and got no blisters whatsoever wearing these 1,000 mile socks. So you can see here where the arch rubs me on those shoes. It's black, and now I have no blisters. I think that is a total genius blister cure. I'm just really excited that these socks seem to be opening up a whole new world of trail shoes for me, so I will keep you posted. Now for some quick fire questions. so many of you are asking me questions on here. This is fantastic. So to fit all of them in, here are some of the shorter ones which I'll answer as quick as I can. So Nigel Cowie wants to know which altimeter to get for trail running or an orienteering event that doesn't allow GPS watches. So I'd say first of all ask the race organizer if you are allowed an altimeter, as that is also a useful navigation device in itself. And if you are allowed, they might just allow you to use a regular GPS watch and trust that you're only using the altimeter function, or you can buy a standalone altimeter like this. After my uphill training film here, Kurt Steege wants to know about how to train for downhill running. Well, Kurt, I'm going to be asking that very same question to the top runners at the Skyline Scotland the week after next, so look out for a film on how to ace downhill running soon. And finally, Grant McLean says, Cillian Jornet seems like a nice guy. When will his Everest record documentary be released? I asked Cillian's PR and they have absolutely no idea, but I will let you know as soon as I do. So this week's random thing that I saw which was cool is not actually random, it's just very, very cool. And that was last weekend's live coverage of the UTMB races. They now have 9 in total, including some kids races too. And with such incredible live coverage and commentary, it seemed like trail running was mainstream TV just for a weekend. And what made it even better was that the Brits all did super well. So first, Tom Evans won the CCC on Friday. That's a mere 100k with 6,000 metres of ascent. And then my friend and colleague Damien Hall came 5th in the main race, the UTMB, which is 105 miles, 170k, with 10,000 metres of ascent. This is incredible, as he was 12th last year and he was aiming for top 10. So I'll definitely be interviewing him next time I see him. We need to get all his endurance tips. He said in Trail Running magazine that he'd been living like a monk for the past 3 months. So I'm not sure if I'm down for that one though. I like a summer beer festival too much. Then after Damien, we saw Jim Mann come in 15th, then Paul Giblin, the coach from our first question, he followed in 22nd place. Sam Shepherd was 39th, and then for the ladies, amazingly, Beth Pascal was 4th, climbing up from 7th place earlier in the race. She was followed by Sophie Grant, who was 12th lady. Jo Meek was 19th lady. That was her first 100-mile race, can you believe it? Holly Swift, who was previously injured, she came in 21st. Amelia Watts was 22nd, and Debbie Martin-Consani was 25th. So massive congrats to all. They all beat world's best trail runner, Cillian Jornet, who was stung by a bee and dropped out, and Jim Walmsley, who I recently interviewed, and I know he was hoping to be the first American to ever win the UTMB after he smashed the Western States 100 record earlier this summer. So well done to the Brits. It's question time. So last week I showed you the Exotog, a 257 gram inflatable insulating vest that retails for £90. Sadly for the inventor, every single one of you thought it was a daft idea. Andrew Shapland thought it would help if you fell while descending, which made me laugh. And the comment that I liked most came from Peter Wright, who wondered if it would work with a pack on, which for some reason I hadn't even considered before. So thanks Peter for that very good suggestion, which I think totally rules out this product as a serious contender for any trail runner's wardrobe. So I'm really sorry about that, Exotog. I will keep on testing it throughout the winter though, so keep following me for more. I also asked you what books you were reading, and a couple of you had some really great suggestions that I'd like to share. So Cameron Francie is reading Reborn on the Run by Catra Corbett, and it sounds really interesting because it's about a woman who kicked her meth addiction and credits running ultras with her staying clean from then on, and that kind of book is always really inspiring. A lot of you are also reading North by Scott Jurek. See his interview about that book here, and also Feet in the Clouds, one of my favourites by Richard Asquith, which has got a lot of people, including me, doing the Bob Graham round. So there are links to these books in the description below if you fancy checking any of them out. And if you buy one through these links, I get a small kickback, which is a really great way for you to support my channel for absolutely free to use. So thank you very much if you decide to do this. So my question for you this week is the same as Rachel's question to me earlier. What is your next race goal? Type your answers in the YouTube comments below and I'll read out the best one in next week's Q&A. So if you've got any more trail running questions for my Q&A films, then type them below also. Subscribe if you haven't already and click the notifications bell so you don't miss out on any of my new trail running videos. So enjoy your next run, guys. Thank you for watching and I'll see you out there on the trails.